Hey guys, it's time for This Week at WeBuyHouses.com. I'm Jeff Horn with
Mike Van Orden, King of Chaos.
King of
I gotta throw that in.
I don't know how he ended up with that name.
You gave it to
I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I'll take credit.
Yeah.
And it is true. Good. Well, anyway, boy, we have a lot to talk about. We're a little late this week because I got a cold, so I'm hoping I don't sneeze on
Dev
you
has
or
been
cough
hacking
or
ever since he got back.
trying to get through this video with it. Anyway,
I don't.
you know what? It wore me out.
Kind of worries
wore me out.
bit.
So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about Nashville real quick. Our fall conference was last week in Nashville, obviously, and we were out there for a few days with about 30 of our guys, and man, it was a blast.
Yeah.
We just had a great time, and one of the things that we asked those guys was to tell us what was it that you got out of the event. What did you value the most? And so I've got my cheat sheet down here, but this is number one is networking, and they always tell us this, that just you talk about it all the time, that when you're not in direct competition with someone, because they all have exclusive territories, you're more open. Right?
Yeah, it's huge, and I think that we've had several licensees already that have called other licensees in different states and struck deals with them, or they get a lead, they get a referral, and they call the licensee across the country, and they go get the deal.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty.
That's the obvious benefit of a mastermind or a conference like this, is where everybody's under the brand. There's a synergy that occurs between them. But the other thing is that we do group breakouts, so they get to kind of meet each other in the smaller groups, and then there's larger full group discussions. But the other thing that's cool is the social events. This time we went on a brewery tour. We'll throw some video of that up, where we went to Yazoo Brewery across the street from Fairfield. We were down in an area called the Gulch, and Yazoo Brewery was really cool. The other thing that we did was really cool was we Trey Ellis, who's one of the two licensees there in Nashville, him and Justin Hicks.
Cool guy.
Trey had a buddy that had these party barges, which were not boats. Right up to the event, people thought we were getting
when I saw
boat.
Party barge, I texted you and said, please don't fall off the party barge, because I thought it was a literal
like a
barge.
truck, right?
And then I saw it, and it's a trailer going down.
No, it was a truck. It was like
they
they were trucks, but they were long, and you could sit about 12 or 15 on each one.
Looked like fun.
We had two barges going
like
down,
fun.
so you're probably seeing that on the screen right now, and that was a blast. I got to tell you, that was the way to see Nashville, because you drove around and you saw the main drag, which is kind of the Nashville everybody knows, all the honky tonks and all that. But they had a street that was like 6th Street. It was really cool. 6th Street in Austin.
Right.
Which was really cool, kind of a little more trendy and hip and stuff. But the whole city was just a blast. We had a great time. But so that's one thing they got out of it, was the networking. The second thing was a lot of discussion about different sales and marketing techniques. And, we kind of went through, what are you guys doing with leads? How do you convert them into money? And so there's more ways than just the buy, fix, flip. There's wholesaling, but there's a lot of other techniques. And so we talked a lot about that. We talked a lot about those that convert. Say they go meet with a home seller, and the guy doesn't want the cash offer, not in a hurry, house in good condition. We talked about how those might be converted to listings. And that's been a long conversation that we've had with multiple licensees over the years. Can you be an investor, take off the investor hat, and then be a real estate agent? And that's hard to do. Some do it.
Some do it very successfully, and
Some say you shouldn't do it, and they divide it into two people. So that was a lively conversation. That one of our licensees at the end stood up and says, "I just don't want you guys to lose focus." He said, he pointed up at the sign. He said, "Doesn't say we list houses."
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good, because he said, if you dilute your attention from the main thing that we do, you could dilute your effectiveness as an investor. I thought there's different ways of thinking about that.
And then the flip side is going to be, are you walking over dollars? If it's not a buy, it's clearly not a buy. They're either not motivated enough, there's not as much equity as you thought. Why pass up either a 3% commission or calling a realtor buddy and taking a marketing fee, $500, $1,000, whatever. And that, look, it could pay for your license fee. Both are correct. Right.
Yeah, the
Both
cool
are
thing,
correct.
the interesting thing about this is, we're not a franchise. We don't tell you how to buy
Right.
and sell real estate. What we do is we get in our system professionals
Right.
that do this and make bank, flipping houses, listing houses, wholetailing, wholesaling, you name it. A lot of wholetailing conversation, which is just getting the house to the level that you can list it. So
it's really about monetization.
it really is.
Monetize
turning leads
that,
into money,
look,
right?
Yeah, and every lead is so precious, guys, because it costs you X amount to get that lead, whether it's 100 or 1,000. So any way to monetize it is so vitally important.
Yeah,
And,
and my point is, we don't tell you how to do it. You're exposed to a lot of great ideas.
Right.
Some of the sales techniques that were discussed, you would be perfect at, but I might not be as comfortable using that sales technique.
Right.
And I think that's one of the neat things is that you can listen to these guys and hear how they're doing it, hear about their ideas, and decide whether they fit you and your business, your market, your personality. That's hard to really, say, here's the big tip that came out of this. Now, I did want to share one tip we thought was pretty cool.
Do it.
There was a million of them in this 3 days, but we often run into the Zillow's estimate, right? We make an offer. We might discuss a preliminary range over the phone with a seller and say, we're probably going to be an 80 to 100 in that neighborhood, that size house, in the condition you described. Is that something that you might be interested in?
Right.
Seller might come back and say, what does he say?
Well, I saw 150 on Zillow.
On Zillow, I got a 150's estimate. To which one of our guys, David Burnham in Tampa, St. Pete, he says, Zillow offered you $153 for your house?
That's great. I love
so
that.
immediately they're like, no, we didn't.
No.
Zillow didn't offer me anything. Oh, right.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
I'm making a cash offer, and you're looking at a number on a website computed by
that's great. I
an
love
algorithm.
that. I love that.
Anyway,
Zillow offered you 150?
And I tell you, there were a lot of
great.
techniques and that I won't share because we're going to put this out publicly, but when you run into competition, there are ways to position yourself so that before you even drive over there, you've got an upfront contract. And I don't want to go too deep into that, but there's a lot of conversation about that as well. And I think, when you're a professional, you don't have a lot of time to go out and just willy-nilly look at houses. You really need to know they're motivated and they are, somebody that's willing to do a deal if you do roll. One of the guys that I've known for years, Michael Quarles, owns a yellowletters.com, and he and I used to be prolific posters on Bigger Pockets, but Michael absolutely does the upfront close. I mean, and he teaches it, and he teaches that you throw a range at them before you roll out there. You make sure that they're in your range, and so like we said, there's different people are comfortable with different styles, but it's really cool to hear different guys talk about what works for them.
What's the old saying? There's more than one way to skin a cat.
The other thing was, we kind of already hit on it, was really just a lot of conversation, about these different strategies. And one of the ones that I really was surprised to hear as many people doing as often now is the strategy of wholetailing, which is, let's say you buy the house, it needs cosmetic, and it needs foundation, and it needs a roof. They might go in and just do the foundation and roof, and then flip the house as one that needs cosmetic. But they kind of look at it at stages. If I just did the things to make it where I could sell them MLS and it would pass an inspection, is that enough that I would make a pretty good margin on this without going all the way to a retail flip? So that's a strategy you guys should be thinking about out there. So great event. We always have a new shirt at each of our conferences in April and October. This is the new shirt. People loved it.
I got to tell my jacket story. Now, the 4 or 5 years I've been here, every conference I've said, Dev, can you get me a jacket? So finally, 5 years into this, Dev brings my jacket back. But come to find out, it's only because a couple guys waited till the last minute to sign up, right? So I may not have got this. So whoever signed up at the last minute, thank you. Because
but your point. In the past, we always gave Mike's jacket away. Like somebody would sign up at the last minute, and they wouldn't have the jacket or the shirt or whatever, and we'd give Mike stuff away. It's kind of a joke. So this year we held.
I don't get no respect. The guy responsible for the conference gets no jacket.
Yeah,
that's
responsible.
But hey.
Anyway.
All right.
So that was Nashville. And don't know if there's anything else. Oh, there's a highlights video, and it'll be. Here, if you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description below. If you saw this on a email blast that we sent out, it's there too. Just a few minutes of just seeing what happened there in Nashville.
I think that these events, the camaraderie, it's just incredible. I think that because they're like-minded, successful investors that get together, and like I say, they don't hold back. They reveal everything that's working for them. And I mean, if you just got one great idea that could totally transform your business, one. And it's so vitally important to understand that because, when you go to these conferences, you're already probably successful in what you're doing. But like I say, it's that one takeaway that you go back, you implement it, and your business just blows up.
What's really meaningful to me is when somebody I know that's doing really well in this business at the end of the 3 days walks up to me and says, "Man, this was the best real estate conference I ever went to."
Huge.
Or another thing that is very valuable to me and meaningful is somebody that has gone to like the last 4 of them who comes up to me and says, "This is the best one ever," because it tells you that this isn't a rehashing of ideas every April and October. We are on the cusp of marketing innovation. We're on the cusp of the real estate industry and where it's headed, and I just think it's
And I think just to finish up,
enormous value.
and I think that unlike these get rich quick seminars that are you see on TV all the time, these so-called gurus, you're in a group of people that are actually doing it. Not people that have never they're just a retired engineer or whatever. They think they want to get into real estate. These are all guys that are making it happen day in, day out. And, like I say, it's just, it's in addition to all the great branding, marketing, et cetera, this is just, something that just gives it that extra punch.
To your point, one of the other things, I'll just interject real quick, I thought about it. We went through a kind of a top-down thing from vision to strategies, to organizations, to process. Because people usually want to talk about process.
Right.
And if you're doing the wrong strategy, the right process isn't going to save you, right? And so in those layers of conversation, one of the layers was the organization layer. And that was really cool because there were, guys in the room. It was kind of them and a partner. And then all the way up to the guys in Memphis, James Walkup's organization has James has like 68 people. This guy has 68. But he has a huge real estate business. But just in his flipping business, they have an acquisitions manager, an operations manager, a lead manager. And so you got to see an organization that was kind of more mature in its deployment versus say, and really there is no right answer, right? But it's just as your business grows and you look to scale it, ultimately one of the ways you scale is through more people, and the other way is through more money. And we talked about both those things. But let's move off that. Yeah. Nashville is awesome. And so the next one's in April. It'll be here in Fort Worth. We're probably going to do the 7th Street area of Fort Worth, which is kind of hip, different experience than what we did last time. And so that'll be cool. It'll be in April, coming up real soon. We have a new licensee, a new market to talk about.
Yeah, we do. Rob Michaels up in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Very sharp guy, very successful investor. And he's coming on board starting November 1st, and expect him to be incredibly successful. And I think he's the kind of guy that will bring a lot to, the next seminar hopefully he's at, or just in general. I mean, like I say, he's already got an incredibly successful operation up there. it's every time I talk to him, he's like going to a closing or got something, get an email, hey, this closing moved to this day, can we reschedule, whatever. So the guy's a mover and shaker. So looking forward to having him on board.
Awesome.
It's going to be good.
We're very happy to have you involved, Rob, and looking forward to
Absolutely.
working with you. For you licensees, one last point I'll make before we wrap is that we launched In Your Back Office today. There in the menu, upper left, you'll see video education. If you click on that, all the unlisted videos that are licensee only are now on a full page. And we did a lot of the videos we did with Stephen Johnson are unlisted licensee
It's good
only.
stuff.
And it's really good
it's
stuff.
great content.
So
it really
just
is.
be aware that that's out there and available to you as a resource.
Yep.
So I think that's it for today. All
I
right.
think so. We'll see you next week.
This
I
week
guess.
at We Buy Houses. We'll see you next
See you
week.
next week.
Hopefully. Boom.
Any